Hello, it's Helen here, and today we're going to be looking at another one of God's promises. God is our strength. But I was thinking to start off today, we could start with a little bit of a challenge. So what you're going to need for this challenge are 5 ping pong balls or something similar, and some plastic cups. Or if you don't have plastic cups, maybe you could use some tins, or just try and find some items that you're going to be able to stack on top of each other to build a really big tower. So what we're going to do, we're going to let you pause this video and you can look around your house and try and find these items. But also whilst you're paused, I would encourage you to build your really big tower, okay? So if you're using plastic cups, maybe you could do it like this. You could start with one cup, then you could flip the other one upside down, set it on top, then go back to the normal way, set it on top, and keep going until you have a really big tower. So for now, pause the video and look around your house. So boys and girls, I hope you're ready to go. You've built your tower. Hopefully it's going to be really big, really tall, and you're ready to go. So we now have 5 attempts to knock it down. And I think it may be a little bit harder than it looks. But how about we give it a go together? So I'll count us in, 3, 2, 1, go, and then we'll be ready to give it a try. So get into positions, and in 3, 2, 1, give it a go. Look at that. It may have taken me 4 attempts, but we got there. And maybe you too also looked at the challenge and initially thought, easy. I definitely have the strength to defeat this giant tower of cups. You're giving me 5 attempts. Again, I repeat, easy. But then you start and you realize your strength isn't quite as good as you'd first thought. And the giant tower was bigger than you initially imagined it would be. But you know what? How about you give it another go later and make it a challenge for your whole family? But before we go any further, I thought we could start with one of our songs. We're gonna sing Tell the World. Hopefully you've been learning the words and actions over the last few weeks and you're getting to know it better. So let's all join in and give it a go.
Came to earth to live with us, to show us how we should be. Gave your life upon the cross to save us and set us free. Now I can live to know your love, to know you more each day. But I won't keep it locked inside. I just wanna shout and say I'm gonna tell the world that Jesus lives in me. I'm gonna shout it out for everyone to hear it. Came and lived a perfect life, taught us how we should love. Jesus, you are the only way to the Father up above. Now I can live to show your love, to follow you each day. But I won't keep it locked inside. I just wanna shout and say I'm gonna tell the world that Jesus lives in me. Gonna shout it out for everyone to hear it. Jesus is alive and he's living in me. Jesus
Today we're looking at the story of David and Goliath found in the Bible in 1 Samuel chapter 17. But let me start by setting the scene. There was going to be a battle, and both armies took their place. The Philistines controlled one hill, and King Saul and the Israelites controlled the other, and the valley was between them. But the Philistines had a champion fighter called Goliath. He was 9 feet and 4 inches tall. And let me tell you, that was tall. He was a giant. But take a minute and just imagine what that height was. I would love for you to stand beside the closest door. And the average door in your house would be just over 6 feet. So this giant was not only the height of your door, but half a door on top of that again. So just imagine. Okay, have you got it? He was ridiculously tall. And not only was Goliath tall, but he was prepared with so much armor to protect him. He had a bronze helmet, he had bronze body armor, and bronze protectors on his legs. He also had a bronze weapon tied to his back, a large spear in his hand, and a shield. There was no doubt that Goliath definitely thought he was ready for this battle. And each day, Goliath would come out shouting at all the Israelites, "Choose a man and send him to kill me. If he can fight and kill me, we will become your servants. But if I defeat and kill him, you will become our servants." Then he said, "Today I stand and dare the army of Israel. Send one of your men to fight me." King Saul and the Israelites heard this and they were so afraid. And this continued for 40 days. Every morning and every evening, Goliath would come out and stand before the Israelite army. But what were the Israelites going to do? How could they possibly defeat this giant Philistine? Well, a young boy, David, arrived at the camp, and he came to leave off food, to check up on his brothers, and then return home to his father. But this time, David stayed and courageously said that he wanted to fight the giant Goliath. How confident must David have felt to even suggest this? And David went to King Saul and told him that he had fought off and killed both a lion and a bear when they attacked the sheep that he was looking after. And because of these experiences in David's life as a shepherd, and knowing that it was God who protected him, he could then say with confidence, "The Lord has saved me from a lion and a bear. He will also save me from the Philistine." And King Saul said to David, "Go, and may the Lord be with you." But let's take a moment here and compare David and Goliath. So we know that Goliath was a champion fighter, and David was a shepherd. Goliath was huge. David was small. Goliath wore bronze armor. David refused to wear any armor. Goliath carried a sword, a spear, and a shield. David carried a staff, a sling, and 5 small stones. Goliath mocked the God of Israel, but David trusted God. So David walked onto the battlefield. He took a stone, he put it in his slingshot, and then he started spinning his slingshot, and then he realized he had to get a little bit faster, use a little bit more force, and then he flung the stone. And the stone hit the Philistine right on his forehead and sank into it. And Goliath fell face down on the ground. David had defeated the Philistine with only 1 slingshot and 1 stone. But who killed Goliath? According to David, God did. And why? Because David relied on God's strength. And you may never have a moment when you have to face a giant like Goliath, but you will face other giants in your life. Maybe you'll find yourself afraid of someone or something. Or maybe you'll doubt whether you can do something. Or maybe you'll be afraid to try something new in case you fail. Well, we can learn how to overcome these giants by following David's example. David overcame his giant by having courage and confidence, keeping his eyes on God. David was not afraid to face Goliath. We see this when he said to Saul, "Don't worry about a thing, I'll go fight this Philistine." We need to have the same courage when we fight our giants. And David was only able to say this because he had confidence in God. He remembered what God had done for him in the past, and that's where he got his confidence from to be able to fight Goliath. And like David, we can have confidence in that same God because he will help us overcome the problems that we face every day. And finally, David kept his eyes completely focused on God. David knew that his own strength was no match against Goliath, but David knew that the strength of God was greater than any man's strength. And we must realize that we do not need to face our giants alone in our own strength, but that we have the power of God available to us. We can come and talk to God in prayer and ask Him for the courage we need to face our giants. We can read the Bible and learn about other people just like David who were able to face their giants because God was with them. And this will give us the confidence we need to face our giants. And finally, we need to keep our eyes on God all the time so that He can give us the strength we need, not just today, but every day.